Hi guys.
Hey.
Okay, is everyone connected? Okay, so previous to the other conversation, we're continuing the discussion with Benny, which is the founding member, community and product of CryptoKitties Dapper Labs, and Mackenzie, which is again software developer in Flow and Dapper Labs. So it's a pleasure to present these two amazing people that know a lot about CryptoKitties. If you have any questions, please do post them on the chat. We'll answer them either throughout the discussion or after the presentation. So yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks Anna and Viva for inviting us to speak here. We're really excited. I know that some of you are dialing in from London, so it's kind of, I guess, in the evening time, and it's morning time for us. So really appreciate you coming here, and me and Mackenzie have prepared a presentation that kind of explains, what CryptoKitties is, what Dapper Labs is, and show you what we're all about. So I think that there may be a chance my video is a bit laggy. I will probably turn off the camera and share my screen to save bandwidth, and then turn it back on near the end of the session. So I'll do that now. Okay, 1 second. All right.
I can't see.
Okay, 1 second. It's a tricky thing when you have dual monitors, so I'm gonna disconnect. Can you guys see my computer?
Yes, I can. I can see
okay.
it.
Cool. So yeah, wanted to start off with a beautiful portrait of our team, at least the team that started the whole craze around CryptoKitties. This was December 2017, and it was a really fun time. So, as you know, my name is Benny. I'm one of the founding team members of CryptoKitties and Dapper Labs. I was working on various different startup companies before CryptoKitties, and really, when we started CryptoKitties in the fall of 2017, I didn't really get it. I didn't understand what blockchain was. I barely knew what Bitcoin was, and really didn't understand the whole idea around, cats on the blockchain. But if there are people here who are new to blockchain and art, I would say that it's never too late to start. And once you kind of go to a few of these talks or search online, there's a lot of content out there. So feel free to connect with me on email or Twitter if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer. So Dapper Labs. So this is the company that's behind CryptoKitties and a few other projects like the Flow blockchain and NBA Top Shot. Really, the focus of Dapper Labs is to build communities that enjoy the nature of play, and we build these experiences on top of technology that makes it fair for everyone anywhere. Our team comes from some of the top tech companies around the world, gaming companies, and brands. So we have a really diverse makeup of experience. We're backed by some of the, most notable investors in Silicon Valley and also worldwide too. Here are just some of them, and we're really excited to have some NBA players who are backing Dapper Labs, and there's a good variety here, and we're really excited to have them support the company and the products. Wanted to briefly talk about some other products that you may not know. I'm going to be covering CryptoKitties pretty extensively here, but wanted to highlight a few cool projects that we've built in the past. One is called Cheese Wizards. It's a fairly silly game, but you can imagine this product as a Fortnite, but on the blockchain. It's a battle royale game where these cheese wizards kind of battle with each other, and it's all on the blockchain, and they're all transactions, and there's a lot of smart contracts. And it was a really cool tournament where the last one standing actually took home about $250,000. So it was a very, very interesting idea. Another thing that I've worked on at Dapper Labs is selling, auctioning one of the world's first digital dresses. You could see it here in the photo. If you search digital dress on Google, most of all the first links will actually talk about this dress that we sold. And that really opened up the gates to thinking about digital garments and digital fashion. How does that kind of work? The project that you may have seen in the press that we've been working on for a year and a half now is actually a collaboration with NBA. Since working on CryptoKitties, we've really leveled up our thoughts on what a collectible could be, right? And you know, CryptoKitties were very cute 2D cats that you could collect and breed. But with this new project, we're thinking about digital footage that we get from the NBA and how can we encase it into a digital object. And with this digital object that you could buy in the marketplace, you get along all of the different stats that are related to the play. So imagine a Michael Jordan dunk in 1993 and having all of the different information surrounding the game and the player, like Michael Jordan, his height, and that single moment is frozen in time in this digital collectible. And you could buy and sell in a marketplace with anyone around the world because all of these collectibles are on the blockchain. And that's what makes it really, really fascinating. So those are just a few projects that we've worked on, and we are still working on NBA Top Shot. You could go to the website and check it out. But I'm here to talk to you about CryptoKitties, and I think that many of you have seen CryptoKitties in 2017 and 2018, but you may have not seen the latest or the newest CryptoKitties, and here are some of them that that I'm a big fan of because it's really been pushing the boundaries of what CryptoKitties could look like, and the designs of them have really evolved through the last couple of years. The community has gotten stronger. There are people who are still playing CryptoKitties on a daily basis. So the game has gotten really, really robust and much bigger in the last few years. I have a quick video here that we have on the website as well. And for the people who are new to this, essentially CryptoKitties are these digital cats that you could breed together. And these cats have genetic DNAs that determine the traits like the eye color, and you'll see it here, like it's talking about the eye, the mouth. And basically when you breed them together, you combine the traits of the mom and the dad, and then you get new kitties from it. So that's CryptoKitties in a nutshell. And this is you know, what we launched in 2017 as an experiment, but then it grew to be a worldwide phenomenon. And here's a few pictures of CryptoKitties. They are pretty wacky and pretty wild. They have wings, they have antlers, they've got jungle environment. There's a lot of varieties, and it's really fun to breed them together to see what you get on the other end. And not only that, since all of this is on the Ethereum blockchain, you could sell it, you could list it for sale, you could send the CryptoKitty to a different wallet, so you could do anything you want with it. But the really cool thing about CryptoKitties is the community that came after we've launched. A lot of these projects we call are part of this kittyverse, and you see that, you know, fans have made T-shirts, people have gotten tattoos, and people have built mini games that are around CryptoKitties. There were projects that were selling digital accessories for your CryptoKitty, and even projects where you could make, you know, with the kitty that you own, make shirts and mugs with it. This is a photo of a project that we did in 2018 of May. We built a custom hardware wallet that held an exclusive kitty. So it was a one of one. There was no other duplicates. There was one kitty that lived in this hardware wallet. And so it was an exploration of physical art piece that was displayed in Christie's in New York. And then we sold it along with a token that was a CryptoKitty. This CryptoKitty sold for a record of $140,000 USD or 203 Ether in May of 2018. And the person who bought it got the hardware wallet and also the token. Not only that, we've worked with other people who are CryptoKitties players to raise funding for charity. And so in total, we have contributed actually more than $180,000 back to help sea turtles. You'll see there, we partnered up with Sea Shepherd Conservation, where we were auctioning this turtle kitty, and that raised money to actually help real turtles in real life. And we also have Bella on the top right. She and her dad played CryptoKitties, and they decided to auction off kitties for the Seattle's Children's Hospital. We've also worked with Little Bub. May he rest in peace. Little Bub has been a huge figure in the cat meme space, and we worked with Little Bub to create a Little Bub kitty you'll see in that laptop. We raised $9,000 to help with their charity. We've worked with Ubisoft to combine IPs together. And the most recent one is we've worked with Muse through our investors who are Warner Music. We've had a campaign where Muse's latest album, we had CryptoKitties that were a combination of two different characters within their music video. And we sold those off on our website, and those had the signatures from the band members. And that's really kind of to show that CryptoKitties have really expanded beyond the breeding aspects. We've really sought a lot of interesting partnerships and explorations of what a digital collectible can do and what digital art can be. But I think for some of you who are sitting in this room, a lot of the things you just saw is very cool and flashy and visual. But I want to talk to the people who are in the room who are thinking, so what? Right? Like, so what about these CryptoKitties, and so what about all these collectibles? Why should I care? So I wanted to bring you along with a story that I'm gonna walk you through that talks about why blockchain. I know that for the people who are well versed in this space, this might bore you, but maybe my analogies will help spice things up. For the people who are new to this space, I think that this will be very important. I spent a lot of months trying to figure out why is blockchain needed, right? Not just for art, not just for CryptoKitties, but why is the blockchain needed? And I think it's so important for us to establish the same mental state where we understand, okay, I think the blockchain could be impactful. So I'm going to be talking about why blockchain. I'm going to start off with the idea of pipes. Yes, you could think of pipes like the ones that are underneath our house. They could kind of look like this, depending on where you live and what country you're from. But in general, these are the pipes that are underneath our homes. But if we were to actually zoom into exactly what types of pipes are important, I think the one that we should know that is the internet pipes. Here's a photo of the internet pipes that cross different oceans and map out connect to different countries around the world. People forget that we could easily connect to Wi-Fi and talk to someone around the world, but there's actually infrastructure under the water, under the ocean, under the ground that powers the internet. On a deeper level, and you don't need to understand how the internet works, there's a very complicated set of rules that connect the computer with the router and all of that. You may be familiar with some of this. For developers, this is pretty straightforward. But this is how the internet kind of connects us all around the world. And it kind of looks like this, right? The computer talking to another computer. Cool things happen when computers talk to each other, right? It allows us to send a message to one another. And this is what email looked like in the 90s. Some of you may have seen this, some of you may have not. And I encourage you actually to watch the video on YouTube that is how to send an email in 1984. It will blow your mind because that process of sending an email is pretty much where we were at with blockchain when we were sending a transaction. It's very complicated and it's not so straightforward. So what we do know is that the internet pipe has rules that we all agree to. When you have this infrastructure that's underground, it's very difficult to make sure every sort of computer is talking the same language and communicating. So we set up those rules. It's the same thing as with chess, right? We set rules. We understand that a knight could only move in a certain direction. A pawn could only move in a certain direction. And these rules that we all follow allows us to be able to play the game or to use the internet. A lot of these rules were defined in the early 90s. HTML, HTTP, URLs by Tim Berners-Lee. I won't get into the details of this, but a lot of these rules were set more than 30 years ago. And so for email, the way it works is our computers use these rules to relay messages through these internet pipes. And you could see a visual of that on the right side. You don't have to understand it, but for end users, all we know is just what's your email address, and then I'll write you the message and then click send. That's it. But in the background, there's a lot of things that are happening. Sometimes we accidentally break these rules that are set, and this happens when you go to a website that doesn't exist or a page that doesn't exist, and you'll see 404, which is an error within when you break the rule. One rule that you may or may not know about is HTTP 402 payment required. This was a rule set in the early 90s that was supposed to enable digital cash or micropayment systems. So there was already a thought in the early 90s of, okay, using these internet pipes, can we send digital cash to each other? And that was a very interesting thought that really didn't develop, and HTTP 402 never really happened. But we do know that about 30 years or less, something happened in 2008. And that was the white paper of Bitcoin that outlined a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And so the whole idea, if you understand Bitcoin, this is pretty straightforward, but you could send Bitcoin or value to anyone around the world, pretty much instant, aside from network congestions. And that's very, very powerful. And that's using the internet pipes that are laid out across the entire world. So if we were to look at a model, right now we're more on the left side, right? We're using services like PayPal, Venmo, Bank of America. I'm sure you have banks banks or services in your area. And you trust in the company to be the mediator for you to send money to your friend in South Africa. But when you trust in the network, you see the decentralized network on the right, which is like Bitcoin and Ethereum, you'll be able to send money or value anywhere around the world without a single company or a government. I think a lot of people understand this about crypto. And so when we discovered how to use the internet pipes to send money, I think our minds were blown. We were like, holy crap, this is amazing. We could send money to anywhere instantly. And so the internet pipes are amazing because they're faster than banks or apps, they're more secure, and they're global. And it's the same thing with blockchains, right? Like, I'm trying to draw the analogy of internet pipes and blockchains. They work hand in hand. And blockchains are faster than banks, and they're more secure, and they're more global. But I'm not here to talk to you about payments. I'm not here to talk to you about decentralized finance. I think that there's many talks out there that are about that. I'm trying to illustrate the point that there's so much more things we could do than payments. And in 2017, we made the blockchain very weird. We decided to put things in the pipe like CryptoKitties and digital art and, you know, all sorts of things. Not just us, but the whole community started to realize, hey, we could do more than just send money. We could put digital cats in there, and that's what people started to do. So in the network you trust, for us, we decided to breed digital kitties to start. And you'll see all the kitties around all of those different nodes. And I want to bring it back to like, so what? Why do we need to use the blockchain for kitties? We should just use it for payments. It's a waste of the blockchain to put kitties on there. We should just use it for sending money. Well, what the reality right now is, if we create a game like World of Warcraft or League of Legends, all of that is run by a central company or central service. When they decide to retire the game or retire an experience, all of the different assets that you've spent money on, all the time that you spent, all of it is gone. And so you'll be asking yourself, what did I just spend all my time and money on when I don't even own it? On the flip side, when a node goes down or a computer goes down in a decentralized network, things are still good because there's a ledger that's shared amongst all the computers. So CryptoKitties became part of history. They live alongside cryptocurrencies, and they aren't controlled by any government or any companies, and that's very profound. No matter if it's art or digital art, this is a concept that should be universal. And so when things have a history, then there's value. And of course, value is a much bigger conversation. But I think you get the point that these kitties will live on forever. In 100 years, they will still continue to live as long as the network persists. So another kind of background is the whole concept of NFT, non-fungible tokens. When we created CryptoKitties, we coined NFT. We created the ERC 721 standard. And that opened the door to crypto art, that opened the door to blockchain games and experiences. Now we're seeing a rise of DeFi plus collectible experiments where you can invest in tokens that could be staked to get a NFT. We opened the conversations to digital garments, marketplaces, and digital fashion. We opened up the conversation to a better and user-friendly wallet because we had hundreds of thousands of users who tried to buy a CryptoKitty but got lost. They didn't know how to use MetaMask. And also we brought the very core issue around scalability into the forefront of conversations around the world about how do we scale this blockchain technology so that we could handle not just sending money, but sending CryptoKitties or creating digital art. So to leave you with a point here, I think that digital things can now live permanently, and the zeros and ones can now determine the rules that we set using smart contracts and the blockchain. And that really opens up new creative opportunities for all of us who are, want to develop things using, a digital medium, or create a collectible game or blockchain experiences for consumers. So hopefully this has given you some thoughts, and I would ask you all, like, what sort of things would you want to put into the internet pipes? What sort of digital things, what kind of digital art would you want to put in the pipes? What do you think will leverage this technology and impact people around the world? So that's the end of my presentation. Here's my information again. Feel free to screenshot it or whatnot, but always happy to help with any questions, or if you have ideas around projects, happy to lend some time and help with that. So that leads me to Mackenzie, who will talk to you about the Flow blockchain, where all of these experiences you see here, UFC, NBA, Samsung, and CryptoKitties in the near future will live on. So thank you so much, and I will stop sharing my screen.
Awesome. So yeah, thanks, Benny. I'm just going to quickly set up my screen share, which means there may be a couple of seconds if anybody has any questions for Benny or any comments or anything like that.
Well, thank you so much. It was absolutely amazing. It gave a really good understanding. It really gave a really good understanding and a basis of everything that led the beginning of CryptoKitties and how they have developed until right now. So yeah, for me, that I had a very basic knowledge about CryptoKitties. It did help in my head towards how they're developing in the real world. So yeah, thank you very much. If you guys have any questions, do not hesitate and put them in the chat. Maybe this is a good time for Benny to answer any of your questions.
Maybe we can move on swiftly to the next part of the presentation then.
Okay, yep. I'll admit to not really being a keynote expert, but I'll get there. Trying to get it so that I can see you guys, but then I can also see the screen share.
Toshi had a question about how do you destroy a CryptoKitty? Well, it's the same thing as how you would burn a cryptocurrency. So if you were to send ETH to a 0x address, that would pretty much burn that token. So people have unfortunately sent CryptoKitties into 0x address, and pretty much you can't retrieve it. So that's how you destroy a CryptoKitty. Hopefully you don't want to do that, but yeah, there is the option.